My dog just threw up a bit, so I have to clean up.
Oh, you do? You have to get away then?
1 minute or 3.
Okay, I'll just stand by.
Okay, sorry, I'm back.
Okay, sure. Back to share my screen. Okay. So, where were we now? We're talking about naming convention, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we got that stuff out of the way. So we have a company's helper file. It's got a module called company's helper, which matches company's controller.
Yes.
and we have a helper called company complete, and we need an argument to that. So I added company to that, and I'm not sure of what comprises company incomplete, or if a company that doesn't have a, yeah, go ahead.
In the company index page at the moment, we list the name and region. And if they don't have a name or a region, it looks kind of silly in that list. So that's why I don't want to list the ones that don't have a name or a region.
I see, that makes sense. So I'm not sure if when a company is created, if it doesn't have a name, if you assign an empty string to it, which is what this is.
Yes, probably.
That's probably what we do. Okay. So on the off chance that maybe when a company is created,
I couldn't write nil because then it was still showing.
You couldn't write what?
Nil.
Okay.
Like if company name is nil, then I couldn't write nil because it wasn't nil.
Gotcha. So what I did here, based upon that, so if the company name is nil, or if it's an empty string, that indicates we don't have a valid company name. If that's the rule, then the logic would be more like if company name. Now, if company name is nil, it'll stop. There's nothing else that's executed. It just returns false, or returns nil, which is false, right? But if company name is not nil, then it looks like we want to check that the company name is not empty, right? So if the company name is this, empty, then this will return false, right? Company name empty will return true, and then I put a not in front of it, so that returns false.
Okay.
Similarly, logic with company region, we want to make sure we don't actually want to execute company name empty if company name is nil. Excuse me, that actually should be what? That name, right? Because this will blow up. It'll say no method available for nil object, right? So first we have to do this to make sure we're not dealing with a nil name.
Okay.
Otherwise, this logic would fail. It would blow up. So company name is actually defined. It's not nil, but we want to make sure it's not an empty string with this check. And similarly with region, company region.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. So with that, let me just save that. Let's see, that's something else. So that's that. Pretty straightforward. By the way, I did change membership applications helper, the module name, to coincide with Rails convention. Yeah. And so now you've got your index file, and we are using the helper here. So I've added an argument call to the call, which is company.
And then it works.
And then it should work.
It should work.
Yeah. So then I did start in, and you can take it from here, right? But I did start in thinking about testing. It's very simple, but so I created a
you forgot to change the name. It's the membership application helper.
Yeah, thank you. I just copied it from there as a sample, right? It's helper. And so we're going to check that method. And so, we return false if the company is nil, or the company is not nil, but name and or region is nil. So we put some test in here for that. We also return false. Let's say company is not nil. Company name and region are not nil, but they're empty strings. We want to confirm that we return false for that. Otherwise, it returns true if we have a company, they have a company name and a company region that are not nil and are not empty strings. So that's fairly simple testing, right? So it kind of look like that. Expect helper.company complete to ... Yep. So you have to, obviously we need an argument here, company, and here we would, probably do a factory girl create, right?
But if it's created with the factory, then it is complete. So then it should.
Well, I think first
to
of all,
make it not complete, we have to change stuff.
you could do that. And then you could also do something like, so there's one test, and you could say company, just to make sure we have an actual company that we want to test. Factory girl create company. I think it's called company the factory, right?
Probably.
Yeah, let's check that. So companies, factory company, makes sense. Good. And then you could do something like name nil. That will overwrite what happened in the factory.
Okay.
So now you'll have a nil name. You'll have a valid company, but a nil name. And then you could also do, this kind of thing like this, where you can actually just say, give name an empty string, overriding the factory default, and test that stuff. So that's essentially how that would work. Fairly straightforward.
Yes. The thing I was missing was the argument for the helper.
Yeah, exactly. That was the key thing. After that, it comes together. The other thing is the naming convention would have broken you either, because Rails will automatically load the module for company's helper when it's rendering a view from company's controller, but it will not do it if it can't find it. If it's company helper, it won't find that. So you'd have to explicitly declare the module available to your views, which you don't want to do.
No.
Convention over configuration, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to do all that work. It does it for you. So that's essentially it then. Other than that, it comes together nicely.
Yeah. I have probably worked with helpers before, but not that I can remember.
Yeah, I think the key thing is it's easy to forget the Rails convention. We all do, so we just look it up and let Rails do the heavy lifting for you, all the hard work, right? So you don't have to declare all these modules and stuff. So did you want me to save this, or you've got it, right? I don't need to save any of this stuff and push it up?
You could please do that. That would be very nice if you did.
Let's see, well, where am I? So I'm in SUS list company fix. So let me add that. Will you kick off CI? Oh, no, only when I do a PI, that's right. So I will push this up to my origin, and I'm going to call it, it's called SUS. Is that your nickname, SUS? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just took that from. So you can see that on my repo associated with the project, and the feature name is that, the branch name is that, SUS list company fix.
Okay.
And I think that's it. So maybe I'll stop screen sharing. So, Susanna, do you guys ever get together in terms of sprint planning or scrum meetings and things like that?
There is a time for that very soon. I think today or tomorrow. It was sort of crazy busy there for a while because the deadline was 1st of December and we weren't finished, so we were working our asses off just getting stuff done.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go back to the
So you have a weekly scrum meeting typically?
No, we did, but we don't.
Oh, okay.
We did in the beginning, and then people dropped off and people dropped off, and then it was just me and Ashley, so it was just me and Ashley.
I see.
And then me and Ashley worked our butts off and got somewhere, and it's sort of almost ready, but I think it's time to go back to the AV way again, to the correct way, and have meetings and vote on stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you think you'd want to do scrum meetings, for instance, once you're now that you're in control?
I could have one every day. I don't know. But
well, it depends on.
we did have Tuesdays at 17, but that wasn't a good time for anybody. So I don't know what's a good time.
Well, daily is good if you have a lot of activity going on. It does seem like there's a lot of activity, just to kind of get in control. Also, it helps with attracting new members, because if somebody's poking around at your project, but they don't see a meeting that they can join to kind of start figuring out what's going on
Yeah,
and figure out how they can start to contribute, they walk away.
I see.
And so, people looking at your project will see a lot of activity in your notify channel and a lot of chat back and forth in the project, but they don't see a meeting that they can join. And so it's a barrier for them to get involved.
Okay.
It makes a big difference.
Well,
Also,
we had a bunch of meetings in the beginning, but only me, Ashley, and Laura showed up. So
yeah, no, I got that. I saw some of those, and they were good. And I think you've got some wireframes as well posted on, was it Pivotal Tracker maybe?
I
Something like
have
that?
some sketches on the pib, yeah.
Yeah. You may want to think about putting them on your wiki, on your GitHub wiki for the project, because I think in Pivotal Tracker
I
they're hard
don't
to find.
think I have one. Or is
Oh,
that maybe that's what Ashley's been doing?
well, you get a wiki by
She's very
default.
good at the GitHub information stuff.
Yeah, you actually get a wiki by default when you create a GitHub repo for your project.
Okay.
And I find it just a lot easier to send people there. They can see your README file that describes the project when they first go to the repo. They can click on wiki and they can see. Yeah, I think you have initial setup information for the project. I think it's just placeholders now. But anyway, I find the wiki itself on GitHub to be a lot better. I don't try to use the AV, the Agile Ventures website anymore to post that information because it's a terrible editor and you can't post
Okay.
images. It's very limited. Do you guys
I could do images there.
on the editor, the Mercury
Yeah.
editor in AV? You
Yeah.
can, but it has to be externally hosted image. You have to post the image,
Oh,
and then you got to put a link
yeah.
to that image from AV. Whereas in GitHub, you
Yes.
can just upload the image directly.
And then, yeah, I
Any,
know.
yeah, if anything, you have a barrier like having to post an image elsewhere and put a link. People aren't going to do it.
I
So do
did
you guys?
it.
What's that?
I did it.
You did it, but you're probably more persistent than some people. Do you guys have a concept of a sprint as well, where you set up the plan for a week or two and you do a week sprint or a 2 week
No, we have those things in the pivotal tracker that are labeled MVP.
Uh-huh.
Those are supposed to have been done by now.
I see.
So, and when those were done, that would have been the time for the next sprint planning phase, so to say.
Got it. Well,
And
mhm.
the thing that is left is the import that Raul is supposedly working on, because we have a rake task to import the members to the system,
Yeah.
like the current members to the new system.
Yeah.
But the Swedish language and the database aren't friends through the import. It works when you enter things in the site, but it doesn't work when you run the import. So the language gets messed up.
Is that because of inflections and things like that?
So that is a problem we need to solve. And Raul said he could solve it, or that he would solve it, but he hasn't yet.
He hasn't had a chance. I see. Okay. All right. Well, I think it would be great if you could start at least doing Scrum meetings and then at some point stop and do a sprint planning session. It's nice to have a set cadence to the work, and so people have a sense of what they're working on this week or this 2 week sprint, whatever the length is.
Yeah.
And what the target is, what the goal they're working toward for the end of the sprint. I think it helps people orient themselves to the project, as opposed to just pick off whatever story and work on it, irrespective of a plan or how it fits into the larger picture.
I understand.
Yeah. So I just wanted to go over that while I had you here, was just kind of explore what you're thinking about there as well. I do think that if you can start having Scrum meetings, you'll get people who can start joining and maybe start contributing. But again, like I said, if all they see is a flurry of activity on Slack, there's no entry point for them.
No,
You know?
okay, understand.
Yep.
Understand.
So what's the next deadline that you have for the project?
It has been. It's still the has been. We need to get this done as soon as possible.
No, I mean for MVP. So December 1st was MVP, but you mostly hit that, but the import of all records you're still working on, right?
Yes, and then when I was going through this actual system, I found a lot of one actual bug, and a few other bits and pieces I have to fix.
Okay.
But the actual bug, maybe you can help me with when you have the time.
Okay, I'll take a look. Do you meet with your client every day or periodically?
I am the client also.
Oh, so you're a member of that dog organization?
Yeah. So I gave the site to them, the Heroku site, so that they could look through it and find stuff, and they found a lot of stuff too.
A lot of bugs, you mean?
Mainly translations, but also a few other things that should be fixed, amended.
So you're basically the product owner then, huh?
Yes, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So you're in touch with what the user needs, being one of the users. Cool.
Yeah, I'm not the one handling the applications, but I know what needs to be done when handling the applications.
Yeah, you're not the person that actually bangs the keys on the
No.
app, right? Yep, got it. All right, well, that's useful. That makes it easy to make sure that you hit the client needs
Yes.
during the sprint, because it's continuous review by the client. It's like, continuous integration testing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I can do is I'll look for. So when notification comes through for Scrum, you said there might be one today or tomorrow? You're not sure?
No, I had Laura help me with those types of organizational things, but she dropped out because she were in too many projects.
Yeah.
Not so good at the organization type tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So I could do one anytime, but I don't know that I will summon.
That you'll what?
Summon. Like press the button to set one up.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Well, what is a good time for a Scrum meeting?
For me, like I said, anytime. I'm on holiday from now until the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So, and right now it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here.
I see.
So I'm available pretty much anytime.
Okay, so you are what, UTC +2 or something like that?
Yeah, 1 or 2.
1 or 2. Okay, so anyway, around there. Got it. Okay. Well, perhaps do you think that who's the other person on the project? It's
Ashley.
Ashley, right? Do you think she would want to take on hosting a daily Scrum or a periodic Scrum?
Yeah,
Folks
maybe.
together talk about what she's in West Coast, US, right?
6 a.m. now.
Right. She's what, in Seattle or Washington State or something like that?
Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so she's pretty much the earliest.
Yeah, she's the one that actually does her best to let everybody know what we're working on, and if anybody new wants to come in, they should understand what we're doing, and she's very good at that. And anything that isn't clear is because I have had her prioritize other things.
Right. I see. Well, do you want to reach out there and say and ask her if she'd want to start hosting Daily Scrum? So I'm right now. It's almost
Yeah.
9 o'clock, 9 in the morning my time, but it's really early for Ashley. So it sounds like when she could do it as early as possible in her day would be best for everybody.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
6 in the morning is
Okay.
too early for her. I don't know. Maybe 7, 8, whatever makes sense for her.
She has a weird sleeping pattern.
Yeah, I've noticed
Truly.
she seems to be working all night or something like that. I'm not sure. One of those people. I'm an early morning person, so I could do it at 5:30 in the morning if I had to. But I'm not a night
Yeah.
person. We'll have to
She
find.
did. She did the opposite of an all-nighter the other day. She woke up at around 6 and then she went to bed around 2 a.m.
So you're up at 6 in the afternoon, and then
No, she woke up at 6 in the morning and then she was working all the way to 2 a.m. in the next day.
okay. Well, that's okay. Well, hopefully she gets out and sees the sun once in a while. But that's yeah, that would kill me. That would not be
But
my
I, I,
biorhythm.
I was in Thailand on vacation, but I spent every day in front of the computer working on this thing, trying to get it done.
Oh well. Hmm.
So I had 3 hours in the sun.
So much for vacation, huh?
Right? So I just wanted to get the frigging thing done before deadline, but we couldn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's past deadline and it's still not done, and I'm so frustrated.
Hmm. Well, it'd be good to get together and talk about that and see what we can do to move it along. Maybe it'd be great if Raul could join and give us a status update. I'll try to start participating as well in helping out.
I'll tell Ask.
And
I'll see if Ashley wants to set something like that up.
okay, that would be great. Perfect. Well, Susan, it's good talking to you. I got to run because I got in 8 minutes. I'm hooking up with somebody else, and I got to research what we're going to be
Okay,
talking
okay.
about. So I will hopefully
Thanks
be
for your
talking
help on
some
this.
more. Oh, you're welcome. And we will talk again soon.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Bye now.